Hey, what's up guys, and listen up, I have some news for Anime Symbol. But first of all, over here I'm giving you something new. What if Naruto was a Fuinjutsu and Genjutsu prodigy with a mysterious Dojutsu, guys? Don't forget to go ahead and support the original and show them some love, guys. And also, over on Anime Symbol, the second vote is done, so expect a what if tomorrow over there. Two more chances for you guys to get your what if done. Just go over there and comment your idea. Once I have 4 what ifs doing, I'll be locking in and doing those 4, guys. So for now, I'm just taking the ideas, but once I have 4 doing, I'll be locking in and doing those 4. And once one of those are done, I'll be taking your ideas once again. So yeah, there's 2 more voting left to be done, so go ahead and comment your ideas. Link in description for Anime Symbol, and go ahead and check it out, guys. So yeah, let's begin this new what if over here, guys. Begin now. It was a normal day in Konoha for one, Uzumaki and Naruto. It was tough being an 8-year-old, surviving, being hated and hunted by the villagers, and Naruto being a very stubborn individual that refused help from the third Hokage did not make his situation any better. At the moment though, he frowned. Man, it would be nice if I could just get some spices in peace. Once in a while. All this evasion isn't really my thing, but the Hokage doesn't like it when I use my abilities. What can a guy do? Naruto thought, as he dived into an alley. He had a bag that contained the herbs and spices that he couldn't find outside the village. I better get outside the walls before they spot me once again, he thought as he made his way. Once he left the walls, he eager got back to the cave outside of the confines of Konoha. He no longer lived within the village. Upon discovering his tenant in his mindscape when he was 6 years old, he had brought it up with the third Hokage, Hiruzen Sarutobi. Flashback 2 years ago. Every single day, the people kept on testing him. In truth, it was Akage's greatest enemy. However, he was given some relief as he heard a knock on his door. Enter, he said, as a young, red-headed boy entered his office. The redhead was none other than Naruto Uzumaki. Ah, Naruto, what can I do for you today? Have you been having trouble with the villagers? No, but I think I know why I have trouble with them now, Hokage-chichi. As Hiruzen paused, looking towards the boy. Oh, you do? He said. Yeah. I had a dream last night, but it wasn't a normal dream. It felt like I was stuck inside of my own mind. After wandering around for a long time, I came across a pit, and in that pit was a giant fox with 9 long tails, and there was a tag with seal on the bars over top of the pit. I had tried to speak to the fox, but he opened one of his eyes and just looked at me for a moment before returning back to sleeping. I see, Hiruzen said. It must be his mindscape, Hiruzen thought, and his first interaction with the beast. He's smart enough to figure this out by himself. I can't afford to lie to him. This would just lead to great mistrust in the future. I have to come clean. Naruto, what you experienced was not a dream. And that pit that you were in, it was your mindscape, and the fox was a 9-tailed fox. Before you say anything else, tell me, how much do you know about the event that happened 6 years ago? Well, I know the Kyuubi attacked the village 6 years ago, and the fourth Hokage sacrificed himself to defeat the fox. And I know that many people died on that night as well, Naruto replied. Yes, you're correct. The fourth Hokage did defeat the beast. However, he did not kill it, Naruto. The Kyuubi is a beast known as a Biju, and a Biju cannot be killed. If they are killed, they will disperse and reform in a few years to sow destruction in their feral state. The only way to safely suppress a beast like that is to seal it inside of a newborn who doesn't have a proper chakra system that is developed. On the night the fourth Hokage fought the Kyuubi, he and his wife, Kushina Uzumaki, sacrificed themselves to seal a beast inside their newborn son. You, Naruto Uzumaki, Hiruzen explained. Naruto looked at him with wide open eyes. Wait, he said, raising his hands. You mean to tell me that I have the Kyuubi inside of me, and I am the son of the fourth Hokage, and also the Kunoichi that is known as the Red Death of Konoha? Are you serious? Said Naruto, as he saw the look on the old man's face. Why wasn't I told about this earlier? Said Naruto. That was due to me and a select few of my councilmen. We decided to keep this away from you due to the enemies that your father has made during the Third Great War. As such, we were going to wait until you turned 16 or became a chunin to tell you everything and also hand over your inheritance. However, I knew if I were to lie to you now about the reasons behind your dream, it would just create mistrust between us and foster hatred, and that is not something I want between us, he said. However, you cannot spread this information. If this news were to leak outside the walls, countless enemies would be coming here to take out their pent-up aggression and rage for what happened to them in the past. That is why this information cannot be afforded to be leaked, Hiruzen said. However, I must ask for your forgiveness, he said, for keeping this information away from you for the past. Whenever you asked me about this, all I wanted was to make sure that you were safe. And now that you know, he said, I would like to offer you the key to the Namikaze estate and everything that your parents left for you. Naruto was silent as Hiruzen feared the worst outcome. However, when he looked up, he saw a calculated look on Naruto's face. But Hokage Jiji, said Naruto, if I were to move into the estate, wouldn't it create issues within the village? I think it would be safer if I continue as is. I would take up my rightful inheritance when I can better protect myself, because as of now, I can't, said Naruto. So I'll take the scrolls and use them to be able to protect myself, he said. Hiruzen was surprised, as Naruto was only 6 years old, and his level of thinking was already impeccable. As you wish, I will retrieve the scrolls and bring them to you in the cave. Speaking of, do you still insist on living in that cave? It is harder to keep an eye on you and react appropriately if something happens outside the walls, Hiruzen said. You always have an envoy watching me, and the villagers don't see me as much when I keep to myself outside the walls, so it causes less problem for everyone. Plus, I like the peace and quiet that I get in my cave, and my eyes don't hurt anyone out there, said Naruto. As you wish. I will see you tonight with your scrolls. Speaking of, do you think you can prepare a stew for us? I always liked your cooking, Hiruzen requested. Ah, said Naruto, I wouldn't mind the company. See you tonight, Jiji. With that, he made his way off, as he left the office and used his secret tunnel to make his way. I always forget how powerful his eyes are. Hiruzen knew that this would be a trouble for enrolling Naruto in the academy, especially after what had happened. In the flashback, it had been 2 years since Naruto learned about that, his tenet and his lineage. Since then, he spent the time studying the scrolls that his parents had left him. However, he still has not found any scrolls explaining his eyes. His eyes are a bright yellow, with 4 tomos around the pupil, and the pupil was now slitted. It was no longer circle. He can't turn them off, similar to appearance in the Sharingan, but yet different at the same time. His dark red hair and his golden eyes with the slit and tomos was an off-putting sight to many people, and if that wasn't enough, his status as the jinchuriki was enough. With his eyes, what he was able to do so far was cast immense, powerful genjutsu without even waving a single hand sign. He only need to imagine the scenario and make eye contact with his target. This is the main reason why he chose to live outside. Because he lost control one time in the village. And the victim, it was a boy, a genin, who was throwing rocks at him. It was Naruto's birthday, and he was so emotionally distraught. He didn't mean it, but when he looked into the boy's eyes, he cast the illusion over him. And the boy took his own life. That was how powerful Naruto's eyes were. Hiruzen found him a couple days later inside the cave. Since then, he has refused to live in the village. He was afraid of his own power. So for the past 2 years, he has been waiting, studying what his parents left for him. He was also waiting to hear back from the third about the academy. Deeply immersed in his scrolls, he did not hear the footsteps. "Hello, Naruto. Reading anything interesting?" Hiruzen asked, the amused smile on his face. As Naruto jumped. "What the hell, Hokage Gigi?" he said. "Don't sneak up on me like that," he yelled. In shock. "What do you mean sneak up on you?" "I knocked on the cave wall, and I announced my arrival," Hiruzen said. Hiruzen was clearly enjoying the fact that he could still surprise Naruto. "Oh, well, I was rather into this scroll. It explained how to do Fuinjutsu without ink and paper. You just do some hand signs and write the seal in the ear with your fingers. Then you apply your hand to the intended target area. Cool, huh? I can already do the explosive seal. Wanna see?" Naruto said excitedly. Whoa. Let's not blow ourselves up in your cave, alright? "Show me outside," Hiruzen said. Hiruzen walked beside Naruto as he wondered if Naruto was already reaching that far. The only people that he knew that was able to do that was Kushina and Jiraiya. No one else. As Naruto would be quite the little master when he get older. As Hiruzen now stood outside with a boy beside him. "Alright, check this out," said Naruto, as he did 3 quick hand signs before he wiggled his fingers towards the left and the right and around. He then turned and jabbed the trunk of a tree. As the ceiling matrix started to count down from 3. Boom! It exploded. "Well, that was a bit larger than I intended to be." "Whoops," said Naruto in a sheepish manner. "That is a very impressive technique, Naruto. I don't think I know anyone aside from your mother or Jiraiya that can do Fuinjutsu like that. You're a natural. Now, don't you want to know why I came to visit you today?" Hiruzen said. "Oh yeah, let's go back inside and we can chat." As Naruto led him back inside by his sleeve. Once they were inside, "So, what do you want to talk about?" "Well, remember when you asked me about whether or not you can enroll into the academy? The counselors came to a decision, and because you do not have control over your eyes, the vote was against you enrolling. Before you get upset," Hiruzen said, "I've decided to take a secondary action instead, to allow you to be trained by our Genjutsu specialists until such time that you gain control over your eyes. And then we would either look at enrolling you in the academy, or you taking the genin test to become a genin. How does that sound?" "Wait, do you really mean it? You found someone willing to train me?" "Do they really want to train me?" said Naruto. "Because I mean, if they have other duties to do, I don't want to be a burden to anyone," said Naruto. As he didn't want to be hated by the person that was training him, if the person was forced to do so. "I figured that you would say something like that. So why don't you ask her yourself? Kurenai, you may come in." After that, Naruto saw the beautiful woman walk inside. "So, this is a young boy that you were telling me about?" "Yes, this is Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto, this is Kurenai Yuai." When I told her about your eyes, she expressed great interest to wanting to work with you. She's arguably the best Genjutsu specialist that we have in Konoha," Hiruzen stated. "Wow, your eyes are really pretty, miss," said Naruto. "And do you really want to train me?" Naruto asked. After hearing about you, of course, I would like to teach you, she said. Hell, if my hunch is correct, by the end of the next 4 years, you will be the one teaching me. She replied with a smile. A beautiful, amazing smile. Naruto was stunned. As Naruto wondered if this was some sort of dream, he brought his hand together. Release. He wanted to see if this was some sort of illusion that he cast upon himself. As he kept on doing it, Kurenai leaned over towards Hiruzen. Is this normal? Should we say something? He will come to shortly. Most people don't really want to spend time with him, afraid of his eyes, or for his situation. Oh, I understand, she said, as she looked at the boy, who was still in disbelief and shock. Time skip. 4 years passed by really quickly. 4 years since Naruto became the student of the Genjutsu mistress of Konoha, Kurenai. However, Naruto was far more advanced than anyone thought. He just needed a good teacher. In the first year, Naruto was able to gain a good control over his eyes, and he challenged the academy graduation exam. Upon an early graduation at the age of 9, he approached the Hokage with Kurenai. He wanted to join Anvu. After a long and heated debate between the three, he was able to convince them. Flashback. Gigi, I want to join Anvu. I need to have experience. I need to go on missions. I need to learn. And I can't do that if I don't have real world experience. Naruto was frustrated. They've been talking for the past 2 hours. Him, the Hokage, and Kurenai. I understand that you don't want me to join Anvu because of their intense practices. And I understand the dangers of route. But I can handle myself when it comes to village internal affairs. Regarding who controls me, said Naruto. He was a bit frustrated and upset, and it was showing in his tone as he spoke to them. But he said something that surprised Hiruzen. With that, Hiruzen gestured for the Anvu to go and fetch him, dog. It did not take too long. You called, Hokage-sama. An Anvu with a dog mask said, Yes, allow me to place up the privacy seals, and you will understand why I've called you, Hiruzen said. Once he was finished, now, why I called you? It's because Uzumaki-san here wished to join Anvu, despite knowing the risks of the association with multiple organizations and influence within the village. He knows about route. Dog asks. That he does. How, I do not know. But I should know by now to not underestimate his deduction skills. I believe that Naruto will benefit greatly from joining Anvu. However, I'm reluctant to allow him to join without having certain precautions in place. I believe it would be best until Kurenai-san deem him to be at a chunin level before he is allowed to join Anvu. I also think if he's allowed to join Anvu, he should be directly under your tutelage. What are your thoughts on this, Hiruzen said, as he turned from dog to Kurenai. Well, Hokage-sama, I think the both of us know by now, once he has set his mind to something, he will not stop until he has accomplished that task. As such, I find your terms for his admittance agreeable. I don't wish to lose my favorite little nightmare, but I can think of no one better to oversee his well-being than Dog-san over here, Kurenai said. If this is what you wish, I will accept my mission, Hokage-sama, Dog said. There is no way he can reach chunin level anytime soon, Dog thought to himself. I've heard the rumors of his advanced learning curve, but still, he only just passed the genin graduation, Dog thought to himself. Additionally, I would like you to drop out of Anvu and return back to the genin teams once your group has graduated the academy. Is that agreeable to you, Naruto? Here's an axe. Alright, fine, said Naruto. But watch, I'll be at chunin level in no time. Naruto knew that he needed some more help. He also needed help in Fuinjutsu as well. There was only so much that he could do by himself. Alright, Naruto-kun, you're dismissed. You two, stay for a moment, please. With that, Naruto waved goodbye to Kurenai, as she called him her little nightmare. As he made his way off, What is the matter, Hokage-sama? Kakashi asks. Kakashi, I don't want you to reveal who you are to Naruto. I want him to truly know you as dog. If he truly wishes to join Anvu, I want to see if he can maintain a distant relationship between partners. I am going to send word to Jiraiya. I believe that he will be very interested in this kind of news. Hopefully he will return soon so that he can start to train Naruto in the likes of Fuinjutsu and controlling the Kyuubi's chakra. That way we can further avoid incidents like the one you had to deal with, Kurenai. I will leave you to fill Kakashi in on the details of the occurrence. Hiruzen said. End of flashback. Naruto was sitting at the back of the academy class, without his mask. His clothing was very similar to the Anvu uniform. Hiruzen had brought it up as the time had reached for him to be placed on a team, and Hiruzen wanted him to make friends his own age group. The only person and friend that he had here was Hinata Hyuga as she sat right next to him. As the others were looking at him confused, Inuzaka, with a puppy on his head, was upset. Hinata was his crush and he had no idea who this guy was. So he finally decided to speak up. Hey, new guy, who are you? I've never seen you around here before. And how do you know Hinata? She doesn't seem like the kind of person to hang around goons like you, Kiba said. Naruto's eyes had been closed the entire time, so when he opened one of them, a look of surprise came across Kiba's face as he saw the eye. He then finally spoke. I am someone that is placed here to be teamed with this age group. As for who Hinata spends her time with, I don't think that is up to you, now is it? What is that, Kiba thought. Is it the Sharingan? No. The Sharingan is red. That's yellow. I've never heard or seen a Dojutsu like that before. The gaze that Naruto gave him was a bit predatory. Just from a single glance, Kiba, animal instinct was telling him to back down. Are you alright? You seem to be having some difficulties, Kiba, said Naruto. As Kiba frowned before he blinked, wait, how do you know my name? I didn't tell you who I was. Yes, you did not. But I was brief on everyone I would be possibly teamed up with. It's only logical to know the people that you might be placed in a team with after all. Brief? Why do you talk like that? What are you? Some kind of Anvu or something? Kiba said to him. Kiba-kun, please don't antagonize Naruto-kun anymore. He's an old friend that I met through Kurenai-sensei, Hinata said. Since you inquired, said Naruto. I'm a former Anvu, he said. Kiba blinked. No way. He was their age. There was no way that he was an Anvu. That didn't make sense, Kiba thought, as he stared at the boy, who simply stopped looking at him. You didn't have to activate your eyes on Kiba-kun. He might talk a lot but he's harmless, Hinata said. Don't worry. I didn't do anything, said Naruto. I just looked at him and unnerved him with my eyes. You know, I don't know why they unnerve people. I think they're mesmerizing, she said. She was speaking to herself, but she had spoke out loud. As Naruto looked towards her. And how do you know that I'm not using it to influence you like that, Hinata-chan? Hinata blushed as she hit him on the shoulder. You wouldn't, dear Naruto-kun, she said, as she poked her fingers together. As Naruto winked in response. After a couple of minutes, Iruka finally entered, with a folder in his hand. Hello everyone, he said, and congratulations on graduating from the academy. I have your team assignments right here, so please listen up. As Naruto waited for his name, it reached up to Team 7, consisting of Sasuke Uchiha, Sakura Haruno, and Naruto Uzumaki. Your joining will be Kakashi Hatake. I was hoping to be on your team, Hinata. Too bad, said Naruto, as she nodded her head. Team 8 will be Kiba Inuzaka, Shino Aburame, and Hinata Hyuga. Your sensei will be Kurenai Ui. Interesting. I didn't know that Kurenai sensei will be taking a team this year. Maybe she got sick of me, Naruto said with a smile. She would never get sick of you, Naruto-kun. Maybe she just could not get her request for you to be placed on her team, Hinata said. As Team 9 was still in circulation, Team 10 was the Inoshikacho. Asuma Sarutobi would be their Jonin sensei. Asuma was the first one to come as he took Team 10 away, as Kurenai arrived, as Naruto noticed her. Did you get tired of me, Kurenai sensei, he said. I thought you would have told me if you were taking a Genin team this year, Naruto asks. Well, I wanted to surprise you by becoming your sensei again. However, Hokage-sama argued that you already taught me enough, she said with a smile. And that I have to share you. Well, I guess that makes sense. How about dinner tonight for old time's sake, said Naruto. It's been a couple of months since I cooked for the both of you, as he looked towards Hinata, who had a blush in her face. Kurenai smiled towards him as she gave him a wink before she took Team 8 off and made their way. Sasuke glanced upwards as he looked towards Naruto, but Naruto's eyes were closed. He said as he returned to ignoring Sakura. Over the years, Naruto had become patient, but not for so long, as Naruto was tapping his finger on the table, as he was rather surprised how his sensei would be this late. When the door finally opened up, a silver-haired man made his way inside. He came inside as he looked over. His eyes gazed towards Naruto. I wonder how long it will take him to figure it out, he thought to himself. Meet me at training ground 7 in 5 minutes. Don't be late, or I'll send you back here, he said, as he disappeared in a swirl of leaf. Naruto got to his feet and also disappeared in a swirl of leaf, surprising the other two. Well, I guess we better hustle, Sakura said, as she and Sasuke made their way through the door. Meanwhile, so, you changed your mind in teaching kids, Dog-san, said Naruto. I didn't expect you to put it together so quickly, said Kakashi. Naruto blinked. You know that your mask does not hide your hair, right? And no one else in the village has hair like that. Do you think I'm just stupid? Well, I guess you're not. Maybe I should have dyed my hair before taking this job. Kakashi mumbled to himself as Naruto's face faltered. So, are you going to put us through the teamwork test with the bells? You might fool Sakura, but I doubt the Uchiha would not catch on to such a simple test. Well, I was going to use that test until I remember that you're here, said Kakashi. So there wouldn't be much point to it. Soon after, Sakura and Sasuke arrived, as the both of them seemed a bit out of breath. How did you get here so fast? What's your name again? Sakura asked, between breath. Naruto Uzumaki, and I have Sunshin here. Why didn't you guys do the same? Naruto asked, as he was confused why they took so long. What do you mean, why didn't we? We don't know how. That is not a genuine level technique. She almost screeched as Naruto blinked at her loud talking. I might have to pick up some earplugs if I want to get any peace and quiet between her pawning over the Uchiha and her loud talking. I guess the academy is slipping since the war, Kakashi, said Naruto. Yes, I suppose so, but then again, it takes a lot of control to perform, and since the academy don't mainly focus on chakra control, they can't safely learn the technique. Maybe I'll teach them eventually. Now that everyone is here, let's do some introduction before this test. Kakashi addressed each of them. Naruto groaned, as he already expected this. Naruto Uzumaki. I like learning about my lineage and spending time with people close to me. I dislike ignorance. I'll keep my dreams to myself. I'm a Genjutsu and Fuinjutsu specialist. Naruto rattled off the usual topics before he turned towards Sakura. Oh, okay. I'm Sakura Haruno. I like Sasuke-kun. I dislike fangirls of Sasuke-kun. My dream is to prove to Sasuke-kun that I am his best choice for a girlfriend. I don't really have any specialties. She spoke as she looked at Sasuke the entire time, as he simply grunted. Sasuke Uchiha. I don't have any likes that concern you. I dislike being compared to my traitorous brother. I strive to grow strong, to redeem my clan, and take my revenge on a certain someone. I would probably be better at ninjutsu and taijutsu than anything else. I'm a close to mid-range fighter, he said, earning an intrigued look from Kakashi. Okay, now that that is out of the way, let's move on to the test. Since Naruto here already know the importance of the original test, I'll improvise and test out your individual skills. Sakura, he said, as he stepped out into the clearing. Wait, what about your introduction? She shouted. Alright, I'm Kakashi Hatake. That's all you need to know. Now come at me with the intent to kill, or I will ship you back to the academy. His book was in his hand, as he wasn't even looking her way. She plucked out two kunai as she launched him towards him. Kakashi simply stepped to the side. She then proceeded to attack him taijutsu-wise, as he evaded every single thing. That went on for a good 10 minutes, as she tired herself out as she collapsed on the ground. Done already. Guess you got quite a bit of work ahead of you if you want to stay on this team, Kakashi said. Sakura was dejected at the blatant insult in her skills. She walked over as she collapsed. She was too tired to argue. You're next. He looked towards Sasuke. Sasuke paused as he thought it over. He fended off Sakura without even looking away from his book. I'm gonna have to bring out everything I have if I'm gonna even scratch him, he thought to himself. He started to throw a bunch of shurikens, watching as they slam right into the sensei, only for him to be replaced with a log. Damn it. Substitution. Sasuke leaped to cover. As he hid himself, he found the Jonin resting against a tree. Sasuke smirked to himself as he crawled up close and leaped. Wasting no time, he went into a barrage. However, Kakashi evade or block everything. Frowning, Sasuke jumped back. Fire style. Verbal jutsu. As he launched the attack forward, it hit. However, once the attack cleared, there was nothing there. He frowned at that. Not bad, but we got some things to work on. He spun around and threw a fist, but Kakashi caught it and flipped him and pinned him down to the ground. That's enough, he said. Let's go back. When he got back to the group, alright, I think I have a good gauge on your abilities. We will meet back here tomorrow at 8 to possibly do a mission. Dismiss. Wait. What about Naruto? Why didn't you test him? I don't need to test Naruto. He was my partner in Anvu. And I don't feel like having nightmares for a week, just because of a spar, or losing any function of my limbs, Kakashi said, as he sent Naruto a look. He then vanished afterwards. Wait, you were seriously in Anvu? And what does he mean by having nightmares or losing function of his limbs? Who are you anyway, Sakura asks. Naruto-sai, yes. I am a former Anvu member. I spent 3 years in the Corps. Kakashi was my senior officer. As for the nightmares, let's just say I have a very potent form of Genjutsu I use in my fighting style, which earned me the moniker, the Red Nightmare, said Naruto, as he opened his eyes, flaring his Dojutsu and activating a weak Genjutsu. Both Sakura and Sasuke saw a gigantic fox appearing out of nowhere. The next moment it was gone and Naruto's eyes turned blue, something that he had control over now. What was that? Was that a Genjutsu? But you didn't use any hand signs. You didn't say anything. Was that a Sharingan? But why is it yellow? Sasuke listed off a bunch of questions. Sakura, on the other hand, was afraid, as her hand was clutched to her chest. Seeing that fox appear like that, it scared her. That is my Dojutsu, and it's classified, so no, I will not tell you about it. Now, I have a dinner to go to, so I'll see you guys tomorrow. With that, he made his way off. Time skip. It has been a month. Team 7 started to do their D-rank missions, and it was pissing them off. Well, Naruto was a different case. Kakashi knew that. Naruto knew that these missions are a way to test the team patience. He wanted to see if either of them, Sakura or Sasuke, would say something. However, he thought that Naruto would have said something by now, as he wondered, was Naruto also testing their patience as well? He wouldn't put it past him. He was a crafty individual. As Kakashi and his team was waiting on their 86th D-rank mission assignment. Ah, here's a good one, the Chunin said as he handed the file towards Kakashi. Well, my cute little Genins, it seems we're on tour at duty again. As all of them shuddered at the last memory they had of chasing down that damn demonic beast. You know the drill. Get the cat back to the daimyo's wife by 1500 hours. No later. I'll be observing from the shadows. Sakura, you're the one in charge this time." With that, Kakashi vanished away. Time skip. Alright, Hokage-sama. That's it. Enough. I can't handle any more of these hellspawn retrieval missions. It almost ripped off my ear, Sakura said as she screeched. The cat had been really feisty this time with its claws. Sakura had cornered the feline monstrosity and it went ballistic on her. "I'm impressed. It took your team this long to snap, Kakashi. But so be it. I think this C rank will do nicely." As Kakashi took the scroll. "Alright team," he said as he looked it over. As he told them the mission, it was an escort mission towards the land of Wave and a bodyguard protection mission, which they will be doing tomorrow. As he told them to pack for a 2-week trip, they can restock their supplies. The timing that it will take to finish the bridge, it would lead into the winter storm, so they might be there a lot longer than expected. So with that, they were dismissed for the day, as Naruto made his way to Training Ground 8. As he arrived and simply leaned back, waiting for them to finish their daily training. Kurenai saw him as she wondered, does he have something to tell me? Or is he here for Hinata again? Probably the latter, she said. I guess I can end training early. They have all been putting in the work, especially Hinata. As she whistled, roping in the team. What's up, Sensei? Something else for us to work on, Kiba asked, as he was sweating from his 3-week spar with the others. But he was eager to learn and get stronger. I think we're going to call it a day. I'll meet you all tomorrow at the Hokage's office, Kurenai said. Hinata glanced over as she saw Naruto, which made her smile. As she made her way until Kiba grabbed her hand, she turned towards him. I know I have no chance by now, Hinata. But is that guy really the one that you want to spend time with? He could hurt you. He's dangerous. Kiba never expected for her to actually give him a glare. Naruto-kun is nothing but a gentleman with me. I trust him entirely, and we have known each other for years, so I will continue to spend my time with him. Is that a problem? Kiba-kun, she said. It was the first time that she ever spoke to him like that, and it was a bit intimidating. And the strange part about it, her demeanor was happy yet she did not seem happy. He swallowed thickly. He knew that he should be treading carefully when it concerned the Uzumaki boy. Sorry, he said. I guess I don't know him like you do. With that, he released her. Man, she can be really scary when she wants to be. As both Kurenai and Hinata made their way towards Naruto, it seems like he has fallen asleep. Over the past few years, her and Naruto has gotten really close, to the point where she enjoyed teasing him. So she leaned forward and blew right on his ear as Naruto jumped up out of his sleep, his hands set in a fighting pose. More like to restrain someone. Wow, I never knew that you were the type, Naruto, he said. But I'm sure that Hinata wouldn't mind, she teased. Hinata blushed. Her sensei was always doing this. And over the years, it has helped Hinata to be comfortable around normal situations. Of course, Kurenai did not mean anything by it. However, it was just a way to help her. And it was also fun teasing Naruto as well, and seeing the both of them blush, as right now he was also blushing. Despite what he has accomplished over the past couple of years, he was still a child. So, who did you came here for, she said, as he glanced towards Hinata. Alright then, you two have fun now. With that, she sunshine away, leaving the both of them. Man, said Naruto, she's always getting me. Naruto-kun, Hinata said, as he turned towards her. Did you have something you want to talk about, she asked. Her face was still a bit red. However, she had made huge gaps in her confidence since she was hanging out with Naruto and Kurenai. Something about being around Naruto and the silent support that she received from Kurenai, it helped her confidence greatly. After being practically disowned by her father, who spent every waking time on her sister Hanabi, she was alone, as Kurenai had took her under her wing to be the mother figure in her life. She felt a sense of responsibility for the girl, as Kurenai was a student of Hinata's mother. So every now and again she'd drag Hinata towards the training ground where Naruto was. And that made Hinata happy. Oh yeah, my team got a C rank, and we might be going away for a few months. So I was wondering, I could cook for the both of us tonight, if you would like that. Naruto felt a bit nervous, as he wondered why. It's not like he has asked her this 100 times before. Oh, of course I'll join you tonight, Naruto-kun, she said. Let's go and get some ingredients before we head out of the village, she said. Oh, and since you're leaving, I'll be cooking for you tonight. No buts, she said to him. She has been working on preparing meals. Naruto was always the one cooking for her. As she had a pep in her step as she made her way towards the village. Stuffing his hands in his pockets, Naruto made his way behind her. As they walked through the village, she spoke about her recent missions that her and her team went on. There was many confused, surprised, and dirty looks from the villagers. Many of them refused to sell to Naruto, but they could not refuse to sell to Hinata. And seeing her in a mood like that was rather surprising for most of them, as she handed Naruto the things that she bought them. As Naruto was smiling, which pissed most of them off, it seems like they hated just to see him happy. As they made their way out the village after they were done, Hinata made her way through the large stone. It was an illusion to hide Naruto, household, as she quickly set to prepare the meal as Naruto lighted the fire and fetched some water. He tried to help her, but she smacked him on the hand. No, you just sit down and wait, she said. I said I'll cook and I intend to. You have a mission tomorrow, and you need your rest, she said to him. One hand on her hip, the other one waving in his face. Come on, but it's not fair to let you do the cooking in my own cave, said Naruto. I don't care, she said. Just let me do something for you. It's so rare that I get to do something for you. So let me do this, okay? She said. Come on, Hinata, said Naruto. You know that is not true. I still have not repaid you for what you did for me. You should never have to do anything for me again, Naruto said in a quiet tone. Hinata stepped forward as she knew exactly what he was talking about, as she hugged him. I would do it again in a heartbeat. I would bring you back every time I have to, Naruto-kun. You know that, she said, as a memory flashed into her mind. Flashback. Hinata had just gotten out of the academy for the day, and decided that she would surprise Naruto and Kurenai. When she arrived towards the clearing, she found them sparring, with a dog mask Anbu off to the side, reading a book. Lately they had been testing Naruto's ability with the Kyuubi's chakra, under the order of the Hokage to find out how much he had over it, how much control. Naruto had been able to utilize a bit of it, but he was not able to manifestate the cloak. However, at the moment, Naruto was on all fours. His eyes were slitted, but they were red. His hair was longer and wilder. His nails were elongated as they were sharp. As the Anbu watched, Kurenai prompted for Naruto to bring out more chakra to create the cloak. Hinata looked on as nothing seemed to be happening. Suddenly, the Anbu jumped up in a ready stance, and she felt it. A suffocating feeling swept over the training ground. A dark red cloud started to surround Naruto. His eyes started to turn even deeper crimson. He snarled at Kurenai, and you could tell that his control was slipping. Dog looked towards Kurenai, but she shook her head, telling him that she had it under control. However, the problem happened next. His eyes changed from the Kyuubi to the Dojutsu that he possessed, casting a Genjutsu on Kurenai and the entire clearing. Kurenai screamed out in pain as the illusion manifested a swarm of crows around the area. The swarm was assaulting both Kurenai and the Anbu, tearing chunks of flesh out of their body and flying back up in the air. Hinata steeled her resolve as she brought her hand together, flaring her chakra. Release! Naruto illusions were incredibly hard to break. You have to know that you were under the illusion, and use a large amount of chakra to break them. It was a side effect of him having that mysterious Dojutsu. However, Naruto's mind was not stable right now, and he was not focused on it, so it was not as strong as it would be. So it was easier to dispel for her. However, Naruto's illusions had another layer, as all three of them found themselves tied up to a stake. Hinata wasted no time. Release, she said, releasing her chakra once again, as she prepared herself for a third illusion, but The envoy and kunai was still tied up to the posts. She was confused as she looked towards Naruto to see. He had a cloak and a tail of chakra behind him. He reached over towards a kunai in front of him before he leaped forward towards kunai. A scream could be heard a moment later. The scream was not from kunai. Naruto's eyes widened in shock. The cloak started to recede as his mind started to focus on what was going on to see who was in front of him. As Naruto was holding on to the hilt of the kunai that was pierced in Hinata's right shoulder. With a gasp, he stepped back, the Genjutsu dispelling, dropping the victims down to the ground. No, 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 he screamed as he dropped to his knees. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Hinata, he said. He started to cry right in front of her, his words becoming gibberish as he spoke. Naruto was angry with himself as he hurted her. His first friend his age and he hurt her. However, instead of what he thought would happen, he felt arms wrapped around him. He looked up severely confused as Hinata smiled at him. Why, he said, not understanding after what he did. It's alright, Naruto-kun, she said. Everything's alright. But I hurt you, said Naruto. I'm a monster. Just like they... Shh. It's fine. You didn't hurt me, she said. It wasn't you. You're back to normal now. And I forgive you. It wasn't your fault. But I forgive you anyways, she said with a smile, as she held on to him. Kunai slowly got off the ground, as Hinata calmed down Naruto. She walked over towards Anvu. He nodded to her as he made his way off. He returned moments later with a medic. As the medic was already told what to do, she did not say anything, she just started to heal Hinata's wound, as Hinata was still holding on to Naruto. The two of them actually ended up falling asleep right there. The stress of the day was just too much. Kunai had picked them up. Given that they were so close, she brought them inside the cave and placed them on Naruto's bed. That was a day that was always etched in Naruto's mind. In the flashback, he hurt Hinata that day. It didn't matter if it wasn't him. He never wanted to hurt her again. Naruto glanced up towards her. How could you forgive me so easily? I hurt you so bad. It left a scar, said Naruto. I almost killed you. I should not be forgiven. In control or not, it's unforgivable. Slap. Naruto looked up, surprised. As Hinata had slapped him, he blinked and looked at her. Don't act that way, she said. I'm not gonna let you push me away. I will decide what is forgivable or not. And as I told you before, I forgive you. I was able to help you, and this is a small price to pay for your sanity. I said it before and I'll say it again. I would do it again in a heartbeat. I will bring you back each and every time I need to. I will not lose you for the burden that you carry for this village. As she felt a lot braver by her little action, so she did something even more bold. She leaned and kissed him on the cheek where she just slapped him. Now sit down by the fire. Shut up and let me cook for you. Understood, she said, as she placed both her hands on her hips. As Naruto simply nodded as he sat by the fire, as she glanced over her shoulder and smiled at him. You know, you might be the stubbornest person I ever know. As he returned her smile. And that's what I wanted to see, my little nightmare, she said. She rather liked the nickname that Kunai gave him. The rest of the evening went by as normal. They spoke and they ate. They just enjoyed each other's time. Before she left though, she held his hand. Be careful, she said. And you better come back from this mission. After all, you owe me a cinnamon bun. When did this happen? Said Naruto. I don't remember losing a bet. Well, I decided I want you to take me out and buy me a cinnamon bun when you get back. It's the least you can do if you're going to be leaving for so long, she said, with a playful smile. Before letting him reply, she went on her toes as she gave him a kiss on his cheek. As she turned on her heels and walked away, she stopped a distance away as she glanced back and mouthed the word sweet dreams. With that, she made her way off. Time skip as Tazuna approached the gate to find his protection guards. His nervousness went up a whole lot, and also him panicking on the inside as he saw three kids. Three kids! The first was a girl with the pink hair and the red kimono. She doesn't even look like she can protect anyone. And the other one with the duck-ass hair and those eyes, like he had some other thing on his mind that he wanted to work out. The third member, well, he seemed a bit different. His eyes seemed focused, and his clothing looked like an actual ninja one. However, they were all still kids, but he did do his research to find out who was the top class ninja of this village. As he wondered if that kid was in that program. What was it called again? The Anvu. However, he could not say anything about it. After all, he couldn't afford for them to find out that he was lying to them, as he was walking them into something that they might not be prepared for. After introductions were finished and Tazuna making his comment, they made their way off. 2 days later, they were still making their way. Tazuna was not a shinobi, so he could not move as fast as them, so they had to go his pace. As they walked along, they passed a puddle. Sakura heard something as she turned to see Kakashi captured in a chain. The next thing she knew, he was torn apart. Sakura screamed as Sasuke quickly jumped in front of the client, ready. Time slowed down as Sakura watched the scene in front of her, as Naruto had not moved yet. However, he was looking at the demon brother. His back was to her. The one on the right whipped his chain around the other one, surprising him. "Ha," he said with a smirk. "Gotcha now, you filthy Janine." Despite holding on to his own brother, with a powerful yank of his arm, the bladed chain sliced into his brother, tearing into his flesh, causing him to scream out. Naruto shot forward at speed to surprise Sakura, but she shouldn't be surprised as Naruto pressed his hand on the demon brother torso. Sakura watched as a strange mark spread over his body. His eyes rolled back as he collapsed. He was out cold. As Naruto turned back towards Sakura, she was shocked. She couldn't believe it. Is everyone okay? But guys, to be end subscribe right here. If you want to see the next part and do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification as they posted. Remember, share to all of your friends in your social media platform. And don't forget to go ahead and check out the other channels. Yes, I need a fourth of them, which I post what you find every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead, check them out, and yeah, enjoy. So without further ado or wasting more time, what do you say we get the hell out of here? Peace for now, guys.